Now, Nigeria's democratic process faces renewed scrutiny after the House of Representatives recently rejected a proposal to criminalize vote buying at political party primaries. The clause, part of the ongoing Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2025, aimed to make inducements to party delegates an offense, tackling corruption at the earliest stage. Stakeholders argue that without curbing this practice, internal party elections remain vulnerable to manipulation, weakening credibility of the broader electoral system ahead of the 2027 general election. Well, joining us to unpack the implications of this legislative decision, the reactions from political stakeholders, and measures needed to curb vote buying is Arise News analyst Dayo Sobowale. Good afternoon, Mr. Sobowale. Many thanks for being here.
It's a pleasure to be here, Suja.
Now, what do you make of this decision, the House of Representatives rejecting criminalizing vote buying, even in the context of it all?
Well, you can see that they don't want to hurt themselves.
Okay.
Yes, because they know they'll be implicated. They will be implicated. You see, it is a pity that political corruption is almost a way of life with us. But I learned a long time ago that you cannot totally eliminate corruption. You can stem the tide, you can minimize it. The attempt at invoking that penalty was to deter people. But you can see, they don't have the heart for it. They don't have the heart for it because they know they will be caught. And it is very easy to see why. When they have primaries, it is a trade. It becomes, when the primaries are on, transactions are on. You see, you have people who have brought money to buy people. And you have willing delegates who are ready to make hay while the sun shines and make as much money as they can, get as much money as they can from various candidates. Because that's the only opportunity they have. And you see, it pervades the entire political culture and the system. Those who win primaries go on to win power. And they want to sustain that power. It's the sustainability of that power through using votes as merchandise, selling and buying votes, that has bedeviled our political system such that we cannot really have leaders who have come to serve or to sacrifice in serving. Politicians see power as a sort of investment. You remember the case of Mungige, who is in some trouble but is on bail now. He was sponsored by somebody in the East, and that person said he wants about 75% of the cabinet post. And he said he invested in power. So in Nigeria, people invest in power. And the whole thing is driven by illiteracy and poverty. Even the average voter thinks it is time to make some money whilst the politician is seeking his vote. And anything can happen thereafter. Our politics has become commercialized, terribly commercialized, in such a way that money drives the political trends and the flow of power from one party to the other. You can even see it in on the larger scale. PDP is literally going into oblivion now. APC is consolidating all over because it has state power. In South Africa, they call it power grab. But then, that is the nature of the political situation. If you do not break the law in the process of acquiring votes or selling votes, and if there is no penalty for you for doing it, see, even the penalty is supposed to be minimal. The penalty, this one, is 2 years something, supposed to be minimal, but see, they don't have the stomach to do it because they know that is their way of life. That is how they secure votes from voters, and that is how they secure power. And they want to perpetuate that power by merchandising the entire political process, so that even the legitimacy is almost mercantile. Let's leave it like that.
Mr. Sobowale, I appreciate the fact that you stated that they wouldn't want to criminalize it because it's more like shooting themselves in the foot.
Yes.
Now, when you pair this with what we've seen recently, with you just mentioned that PDP is more or less going into oblivion. Mm-hmm. We're seeing us into what most might call a one-party state. See what's also happened with the Supreme Court, where it was ruled that the president has it's not illegal for the president to displace or set aside a democratically elected governor similar to what we saw in River State. Mm-hmm. When you pair that with this, and you look at all these things that have happened simultaneously, what kind of democracy do we have?
Well, we have our own brand of democracy.
What brand is this?
This is our own brand of. See, the Fubara thing, you mentioned that now, and you seem to imply that the Supreme Court made a mistake there. I don't buy that.
I didn't say that.
I don't buy that. See, even what was the latest case that went to the Supreme Court? And they gave a judgment, they threw out the case. It's the same Fubara case. They threw out the case because they said the governors who brought the case had no merit.
Yes, we're talking about the same case.
Had no locus. Mm-hmm. And one other reason. But people reported it differently. As if the Supreme Court has said that the president had no power to do that. That was not the judgment. Okay. So you see, that's still part of our nation, the democracy now. You see, this is from interpretation of a legal of a Supreme Court judgment. Even this, see, there has been a debate on it now. I read that thing. It was so clear. This case is thrown out on these two grounds, and then the judge went on to dilate, to teach everybody what constitutes emergency, and he said there are various contexts to do it. He never said the president acted illegally.
Okay,
so let's leave that.
That's fine, Mr. Sobowale. But yes. I'm saying when now that we're seeing that the House of Representatives, they're not even being covert about this, openly saying we're not going to criminalize vote buying, and of course the backlash is apparent from the civil society and other stakeholders that might not be in support of this. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm not saying that you're surprised. I'm just saying that what is left of the democracy to salvage this brand of democracy that we're supposedly practicing in Nigeria, if we're openly making it clear that there are literally no consequences for vote buying.
You see, even somebody there said they are still at it, that it's a continuous conversation. Mm-hmm. That to make, perhaps get to a stage where they will do it. You see, if your politics, if your values, if your aspirations are driven by grabbing power through money, there is no way you can make a law to implicate you if vote buying is the mode. It is illegal, it is undesirable, it is bad, but you'll be living in the utopia, you get me, if you do not know that that is the nature of our politics. That is why when people get to power, they don't want to quit power. They don't want to quit power. And that is why they raise the bar for you to get presidential for 100 million naira. How many people can? So it's a closed circuit. It's a closed circle of people. I've said it here before, that we got independence from the colonialists. You get me? And started democracy. Now, we are under the yoke or colonialism of the political class. Nothing illustrates that better than the collapse we are seeing of the PDP right before our eyes. And even sometimes, maybe the Senate president said maybe only a handful of senators now are not in the APC. Literally, the whole house is in the APC. So whether you talk of one party state or not, they know they can dictate whatever they want. But we did not close our eyes when all this was happening. Because there is poverty in the land. There is poverty in the land. And those who have power are guarding it with their very lives so that it doesn't get to the other side. The other time when PDP was in power, they said they will hold power for 60 years. Now they are into oblivion. Either they are obliterated or they are assimilated into APC. Maybe perhaps you have an APC PDP party, but the APC will not go for that because they are seemingly controlling the terrain. They are controlling the terrain. I am a realist, analyze based on what is on the ground. Let's leave it at that.
Okay, I also analyze based on what's on the ground, and I know that you're bringing me a hamper for Christmas. I'm so happy about that. Thank you so much, Mr. Sobowale. This has been a great analysis as always. Thank you for your time here on Newsday. Thank you.